Greetings and namaste. This is Michael Monk from the Avatar Energy Mastery Institute, and today I want to talk to you about what for most is going to be a very shocking revelation. Now, we've been told by various theories that physical matter is light slowed down to a low vibration. Well, I'm here to tell you that that couldn't be further from the truth. Physical matter is actually the highest vibration that our consciousness has ever been able to experience. Let me explain. Okay, most of you are familiar with the idea that we come from void space, or you've heard of the void, which is where all things began. So imagine yourself right now in void space, as the void space. Now imagine that a vibration of a certain amplitude is passing through you at 1 pulse per second. Boom, boom, boom. It wouldn't be that noticeable to your consciousness. It'd be like an annoying drip of water. It would be very light. Now imagine that a vibration of that same amplitude was passing through you at 200 times per second. It would be so constant that it would seem solid. Like every time you would go to examine it with your consciousness, it would always be there. I'll give you another example that'll help this make sense. Imagine that you're filming a movie. You have a stationary background, like some trees, all right? And you're going to film in front of it a solid rock. Now let's say that you film that rock at 2 frames per second, and then you put it against the backdrop of the trees. When you go to play that movie, that rock would be very light. It would be very transparent because it's only appearing for a brief flick once every 2 seconds. However, if you film that same rock at 24 frames per second, then you would end up with a solid rock. So hopefully that can help you see how our physical body seems solid to us and the physical world around us, because its vibration is so fast that every time our consciousness goes to observe it, it's always there. Now, I want to talk a little bit about the light realms, because once again, because we've had the order reversed, there's been a lot of confusion. Now, those of you who are already familiar with traveling out of body know that the light realms are real, absolutely real, and that you're conscious while you're there, but not nearly as conscious as you are here, and they're not as real as this world is. It's a lighter energy. You also understand that to achieve the out-of-body state, that your consciousness, your brainwaves, has to reduce itself to theta pulse, theta brainwaves, which is 4 times per second. Now when you get really good and you've had thousands of out-of-body experiences, this stuff really starts to make sense. You can close your eyes and go into a meditative state, and you can start to catch flickers of these light realms that are happening 4 times per second on a pulse. They'll blink in, and then if you can fuse your consciousness to it or reduce or lower your vibration smoothly to 4 pulses per second, all of a sudden you experience it as a smooth continuity, a real, solid world. But once again, it's made of a lighter energy, which is lesser energy. E equals mc squared, okay? That's why we can levitate, fly, shapeshift, walk through walls, do everything that we do in the light body, because it's a lesser level of energy that our consciousness has already mastered. Now, as consciousness, we're always seeking greater and greater levels of self-actualization, of self-realization, which is why we find ourselves here right now. We're always seeking a greater awareness of self and a greater expression of reality, something that's more real. We got to get rid of this digital thinking, on or off, real or not real, imagination or fact, because it's not digital, it's analog. So everything is real, it's just how real is it? And so the lighter out you go, the more anything is possible, because it's a level of energy our consciousness has already mastered. Which is why when you're projecting out of body, you tend to experience according to your beliefs. If you believe in religion, you're going to experience God. If you believe in demons, you'll experience them. If you believe in extraterrestrials, you'll experience them, so on and so forth. And this can also help you to understand why all the information that comes from people traveling the light realms has been completely invalid. You know, the Earth is going to ascend in December 21st, 2012. Earth's going to turn into a sun March of 2013. You know, this and that. And it's these are lighter areas. They're lower vibrations. They're only the first layer of out-of-body experience is happening 4 times per second, whereas the physical reality is happening more than 16 times per second, which is the beta pulse. So the proper way to train in energy, if you want to become a master of physical reality, is to speed up your vibration, to go into gamma waves. All right? So I'll give you another explanation that'll help things make sense. When you're born into a body as consciousness, you fuse your structure to the neurons and the nerve fiber system throughout the body, which have their own preset rhythm, and it's fused to the 5 senses. So in other words, you know, we have the rainbow spectrum, which is a sense of sight. We have the 20,000 to 20 hertz, which is hearing. Well, touch has a range, taste and smell, they all have a range. Anything that's above or below that range, our ego doesn't consider to be data, doesn't even consider it to be exist until one day, you know, we wake up. And that's what people are currently doing is waking up, but very few people are actually ascending because they're going back, they're going out, up, out into lower vibrations. Okay? I want to show you a picture real quick because the rainbow has been trying to teach us all along. So examine this picture and you'll see that violet is actually at the bottom and red is at the top. And I'll show you a few more rainbow pictures so that you can see this is every single rainbow. Alright? Now there is the occasional rainbow where it's the other way with red at the bottom and violet at the top. And in those cases, it's the rainbow's bent towards the sun. All right? And that's showing us the same data. In fact, here's a picture of an entirely sun-based rainbow. And as you can see, violet, the highest vibration, is within. So the rainbow's been trying to teach us that the higher vibrations are actually within us, within our core, and that the lower vibrations are without. But there's very few people that have learned to fuse their consciousness with the external reality, so it's hard to be taught these lessons that the nature is here to provide us. As energy masters, we're able to merge our consciousness with anything. So I pretty much discovered all of this by merging my consciousness with a rainbow, and I began to channel it, because in that pattern of the rainbow I found was an intelligence. Like when I fused my consciousness, when I fused my consciousness with the rainbow, it began to feed me a stream of information, which started to make things a lot clearer in my head, because I was under the assumption that physical matter was a lower vibration because I just believed what I'd been told, yet I knew that as I approached ascension level greater energies that I was going into density. I wasn't going up and out and into the light. So for the longest time I thought lower vibrations, was where it's at, and I was, thought higher vibrations were light and flimsy and had no effect on the physical reality. Well, that's just because I believed even the most basic information that the New Age spiritual community presents. So, it's time that we get experiential. Now, when you approach these gamma waves, your consciousness accelerates sufficiently to where you can observe the physical body and observe it vibrating. Like when your vibration's low in the beta states and in the alpha states, every time you go to observe yourself, it's always there, so it's solid. And when you accelerate into the gamma waves, you start to vibrate a little bit faster than the preset pattern of the physical body, and all of a sudden the body starts to become light. Light body is a perception, okay? When I transport out of when I project out of body to these other worlds, these light realms, a lot of the beings in the world are, most of them, they're physical. To them, they are in a physical body. Star worlds, parallel Earths, everything that I've been through to, most of them, they believe that they are physical beings because they're, to them, that is a physical body because they're vibrating that low. But there I am in the same body they are, in the same world they are, but it's a very slow vibration to me, so to me it's very light. I can levitate, fly, shapeshift, walk through walls when they're all stuck in physicality. So that's what's going on here. Now, going up and out, you know, that's great. That's what we call waking up. That's for rest and recreation. It's not for wisdom. It's to remember where you came from, why we're doing what we're doing, and to have everything make sense, and for you to have a knowledge that Earth isn't the only life you have. You've got parallel existences everywhere to give you a sense of peace. But it's not ascension. Ascension is going within, into your own core, into your own source spark, into your own 0 point, and speeding up your vibration to the point where you are vibrating slightly fast in the physical world. Now, it can be a scary place to go. It's an extreme level of self-realization. And it can be scary. You're confronted with the fullness of all your vibrations, from the sexual center all the way up to the crown, all feelings, all emotions at the same time. And when I first started achieving this, I tell you, it's like, oh, I don't know, I don't want to ascend. I think I'd rather just die or go back to sleep, go back to the light realms, because you're confronted with the fullness of everything, and you have to be the love. At that point, you have to say, it's all love. All of my being, everything, all vibrations, everything I've ever felt, it's love. And when you do that, you pacify, you harmonize, and all of a sudden it's comfortable to be in this greater energy. Now, there is an octave where you can vibrate to where the physical world disappears when you go into the gamma waves and you get high enough. I've only obtained this a few times, but I'll go ahead and report on what I experienced. So, first of all, your body starts to solidify into a supreme state, just like this. Like crystals. So the illusion of flesh begins to disappear and your body begins to crystallize. Except it doesn't feel heavy. It feels light. Because you are now vibrating your consciousness past the state of physical matter. So the physical matter is starting to become light to you by perspective. But this is why we've, through various channels, we've heard about the crystal body, and it just felt right to everybody, right? I mean, the crystal body, yeah, feels right, you know, to our heart, to our intuition, because it is what we're going to obtain. But crystals are, as you can see, they're solid. They're not light. You know, it's all perspective. But you know, we should have taken the hint, and we should have been going into density of physical matter, and we would have discovered this by now. You know, should have, would have, could have. I'm just grateful that we are, you know. So we've got some amazing times ahead of us. But what I experienced was the physical body begins to crystallize, and all of a sudden the light coming out from my center, from our eternal heart pulse, we've always got vibrations coming out of our heart. When we think in words, it vibrates. When we think in images, it vibrates. And this goes through our structure and out into the world. Well, when you begin to crystallize, you obtain a greater density, which makes your light of a greater amplitude. Now, it's a scientific fact that vibrations travel 4 times faster through water than they do through air, which is why whales can communicate over long distances. Vibrations travel 14 times faster and farther through wood than they do the air. So when you begin to crystallize, what started out as a light energy, you know, the etheric energy of the heart, becomes strong. It becomes super high amplitude, enough to create a world. The physical world, when I do this, and once again I've only done it about 3 times, but the physical world disappears, your body structure begins to crystallize, and the amplitude at that point gets squeezed, and your heartbeat goes woof, your thoughts go woof, and the light is then of a sufficient amplitude to actually create a world around you made out of crystalline solid energies, gorgeous beyond belief, in like fractal patterns of every emotion and every feeling, all of it being gorgeous. When you're in this state, you can say, well, all right, well, let's just examine, let's remember fear, and I'll go right into that fear, and all of a sudden, boom, brilliant fractal colors of gorgeous reds and yellows and amazing geometrical patterns, and I go, but that isn't fear. I mean, that's friggin' beautiful. I'll go into sexual energy and these gorgeous hues of pinks and baby blues, and you're just like, wow. And you know, you cycle through all your emotions, and you end up seeing, well, I just went through all the so-called negative emotions, and they were all beautiful and gorgeous beyond description. Well, that's how you obtain experiential knowledge, that it's all love, that we are a judgmental species of consciousness, and there's nothing wrong with that. You're supposed to make judgments, but fear and love, they're an interpretation of a vibration. They're not the vibration themselves. You can experience a very fast vibration and go, that's love. You can experience a very slow vibration and go, that's love. You can be afraid of anything that you want to be afraid of. You can love anything that you want to love. So I'm basically saying this because to obtain these greater states of consciousness, the higher vibration, moving faster than physical matter, you get confronted with the fullness of your being, and you have to be the love, you have to be the forgiveness, you have to be the sense of cleanliness, the sense of purity, or you're going to drop right out of that state, come back to the body, and so, I just want to go back to sleep. I just want to dream again, or go back to the light realms, and, obviously that's not Ascension. So what you learn in Avatar Energy Mastery Institute is how to get the full soul presence inside of the body, how to solidify your vibration, to come into the structure of physical matter and become comfortable in the greater levels of energy, enough to where you can project your consciousness out of your body and into the external world and fuse it. You expand past the nerve fiber system and into the physical world, and you begin to feel it as a part of yourself. So it begins to respond to you for the same reason as your hand flexes when you will it to, which is why we can change directions of the wind, make clouds disappear, change the weather, move objects inside of a sealed container, make water ripple by holding our hands still inside of it. It's because we have a magnetic presence, like a sense of touch out here in the external world, and we can squeeze, we can expand, we can increase temperatures, decrease temperatures, and it causes a mild effect on the external reality. I'll close with a final point why reality creation isn't that successful to people. It's because it's not just beliefs. It's not just beliefs. It's beliefs plus energy. You can believe that that you're wealthy, or that you're going to get a new job, or whatever it is you're wanting to manifest, all you want. But if you're not fused with your heart structure and the greater energies down your column, then it's a very light, little wispy, flimsy thought that just goes out and back into the light realms, which are on those very low vibrations. So it doesn't have any impact on the physical world. However, when you fuse your consciousness with your heart, science already understands the heart is 100,000 times electrically stronger and like 10,000 times magnetically stronger than the brain. That's when you can finally have a force, a power, an amplitude to what you're projecting. And don't sell yourself short by thinking that you're connected to the heart when you're not, because if you are, you're going to be unified with that electromagnetic field. You're going to feel all things past your body as being a part of your body, and you're going to be telekinetic just as a side effect, because you now have a conscious presence everywhere. It takes training, focus, and meditations to obtain this. And the heart's just the start of it. So like I said, eventually we need to obtain this crystal structure which amplifies our light. It's like the male-female relationship. The female being a contractive force, the male being an expansive force. We have both of these polarities within us simultaneously, male and female. But we aren't in love yet. When you're not in love, there's no empathy and there's no sympathy. Vibrations just pass through without even being noticed. So when I want to run energy through a person, if I don't do empathy or sympathy with them, I can project right through their body and they don't even know that I'm there. The same way as, we're receiving all these vibrations, yet very few people are picking up on them. That's because of love, empathy, sympathy. So like I said, the feminine is a contractive, the male is an expansive. When your inner male is in love with your inner female, then the contractive force meets the expansive force. Boom! And the expansive force cannot be stopped. The masculine in us will come out. The heart, the light, regardless. And the feminine contractive force cannot be stopped. It will contract. So when the two meet, they clash against each other and start to build this 0-point infinite energy. And this is where we're leading everybody. So wonderful things to look forward to. Vast abilities are available to you right now, and the more that we realize and get our interpretations of reality correct, the less we can unhook from all this information, this inaccurate information that's coming from the lower vibrational light realms, and begin to realize that we create reality. We are the source. The source is within. And when we can begin to create our ascension, because that's how it's going to happen. So, hope you enjoyed this lecture. Look forward to you checking out my course at avatarenergymaster.com. We've got hundreds of students from all over the world, very talented people, extremely reasonable rates, and a social networking forum. It's like an extended family, multiple teachers. We're there for you 7 days a week. So, thanks for watching. Namaste, and God bless you.